Investigative reporter Jonathan Lee Riches investigates. I got some new information right here on this individual, Genesse Moreno. I want to share a clip of her speaking and talking about children having relationships with teachers online. It's very interesting, and it gets into the mind of this individual. We're talking about the tragedy also that occurred at the Lakewood Church in Houston, Texas. But I want to share this clip first, and then we will further discuss. Check it out.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeffrey Escalante Moreno. Today I would like to talk to you about, are you okay with your kids, your children, your teenagers being friends with your teachers online? A place where one goes and talks personal, backgrounds, history, who knows? Nowadays, social media has become such an icon with pretty much everyone. There's grandparents that have social media accounts nowadays. Even animals have social media accounts. Anyone can create a social media account. It takes nothing but 2 minutes and you're on Instagram, posting pictures of whatever you want. Now, I would like to talk to you on why it's unethical for teachers to become friends with your kids online. For one, I have a 3-year-old son. Do not know how one may feel in 15 years from now regarding the subject I'm going to make today. Although, if it's in the direction we're going thus far, this can get really out of hand quickly. Now, one of my first points that I would like to make in my here today with you guys is that there's many risks on why teachers should not be your friends to your kids online. Now, the number one thing is because there's no record of what's being said. There's no record of what messages. Kids can delete them. There's deleting of, now they have Snapchat, where you do a Snapchat and it's gonna automatically delete in seconds. So first thing is that it's all secretive, it's all private. I don't think I would want my 15-year-old son texting his 25-year-old teacher privately. Another point that I wanna make here today is the fact that it's also, because it's private, it's secret, there's no way we can trace that. How am I supposed to believe if my son comes and says, oh, my teacher said this to me? I don't know, because there's no way of tracing that. I mean, there's probably some circumstances where you could file a lawsuit, and yes, you could probably get to the bottom of it. Though, is that really going to happen? The other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about today is that since these accounts are so easily created, these accounts can be fictitious. You don't know if this person is really who they are. And what about if your child goes to school where there's a prayer, that you have a teacher that's praying on them? You have a beautiful daughter, beautiful son. Now there's this psychopath of a teacher that likes them. They're going to pretend to be someone they're not just to prey on your child. I don't think that's ethical. Brandon Fox on, so actually, let me start off by saying that there's a Missouri bill that was passed in 2011. It's called SB 54, which actually makes teachers and tells them that they cannot communicate with students electronically nor privately, thus leading that Brayton Fox actually agrees with this, and he believes that allowing teachers to communicate with your children can lead to sexual things, and I totally agree with that, because there's been many cases where teachers have fallen in love with kids, have had children, and actually in Texas there was an article that was written, and it states that 686 teachers lost their jobs between the 2010 and 2016, 81 cases by 2017. Emma on how schools can stop inappropriate student relationship with children. That's what was said, and it's a proven fact. Okay, now my next point here is the fact that number two, my second point is that since it's untraceable, their children are at risk. You know, there's no place where you can go and say, okay, my teacher said this, or the teacher can defend herself. There's no way. My child can be the one harassing the teacher, or the teacher can be the one. I don't know if my child needs help. You know, I don't know if the teacher needs help. But how am I supposed to know if my child comes up to me and he tells me, and you know, how am I supposed to trace this? There's no way of tracing it. And another article written by Daily Dot states, it was written in 2020, and it states that, you know, the school districts are pretty much scrambling up. They're trying to figure out a way of how they're supposed to stop this, because they know that there's possible risk. Leading back to point one, that there has been possible risks, you know. Now, my third point here today is very, very simple. You know, when you are dealing with online accounts, just like you and I, we may have one. We may have something. We don't want people to know who we really are. We might want to be more open, you know, and we might create an account with a fake name. And this is happening every day. I mean, there has been many studies done where teachers and students have been communicated with each other, and then they find out that, oh, it was the teacher the whole time, or, you know, it's just vice versa. And fake accounts are a big thing, because, you know, you don't know if this teacher, it's working under a fictitious name, just like they can create that. They can create a fictitious identity. Now, you might think I'm going over the top, but what about if that account is by a teacher or someone posing as a teacher, and could be a sex offender, could be psycho, could have killed someone? You'd never know. Well, Alexandra Fleming in 2014 wrote an article on today.com, and she states that adults who communicate with may say things to child and preludes to sexual contact. So this means that when a teacher is in contact with a young kid, young lady, they become familiar, okay? You don't know if this person is real. You don't know if this person is a killer. All you know that they're going to work their way into your child's life. And then what happens? They're at risk. Another article in the New Times, and I will conclude with this, it states that social media has many educational benefits, and I agree. And then it goes on and states that as well as to keep children safe online, there's a higher risk to keep them safe online. It has a domino effect. Which one do we pick? Are you keeping your kids safe?
So that gets into the mind of Genesse Moreno, aka Jeffrey. She said she's Jeffrey. So we're not here to discuss that matter. We're just here to share insight on who this individual is. I am scouring over the net, looking for anything and everything over this individual, about this individual. Who is this individual? Why did this church shooting happen? How did it happen? What's the motive here? We are digging in deeply. I got numerous videos already out on Genesse Moreno, aka Jeffrey. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe. Did she have valid points? Or she did what they say right there had valid points? Do you think teachers should be friends with their students online? Or did it make sense, or did it not make sense? Interesting stuff. Praying for the community of Texas. We say no to violence on JLR Investigates. Sub to the channel, hit the notification button. When more information comes out, I will most definitely share it with you. You hear it first here on this channel. Stay tuned.